Hello, this is Ben Mosier. I run learnwardleymapping.com. I wanted to do a quick video to describe a little bit about what I've been thinking about with habit change and using Doctrine from the Wardley mapping framework. So thinking about early principles that you want to be applying and how to actually go about applying them, to learning them and actually getting better at them. Or thinking about the way Simon's been representing a progression of improvement using the doctrine table, basically how to get from warning to something more along the lines of good. So I think one of the everyday opportunities we have to exercise better doctrine is to basically pay really clear attention to what's happening in the meetings that we hold in our organizations. And it's not particularly hard to start doing meetings better. One of the first things that I can recommend is starting by paying attention to who is being served by this meeting taking place. And at the end of the day, if we're meeting to make decisions, if we're meeting to design things, if we're meeting to coordinate around the work that's already in motion, who is being served by that work occurring in the first place? And so if it feels like a meeting is going in circles, or if it feels like the conversation isn't productive, or if you're just tired and bored, and basically I think that those are triggers to intervene and actually stop the meeting, like interrupt what people are saying and say, hey, who are we serving here? Right? And I think if we can't answer that question in the moment, then that indicates some deeper underlying issues. And I think that's the problem that is more important to solve than whatever was likely being discussed during the meeting. Another thing worth considering is taking notes and making sure that there are artifacts of what was learned and what was defined during the meeting, and that making sure that they get carried forward into the next meeting in some way. I think lists are extremely powerful early forms of applying doctrine and of doing Wardley mapping without necessarily making maps. So lists of users, as we described already, but also lists of needs, things that they are getting, benefits that they are getting from us meeting and working on a problem. What needs are we trying to enable ourselves to better serve and to better meet? Also, the capabilities that are in play to actually create the system that comes together to meet those needs. So I like this prompt. It's like you hear a word in the meeting and you're not sure quite what it means, or you hear two people talking about something and you think they're talking past each other. I think it's really useful to stop the conversation and saying, hey, I just want to understand what we're talking about. Could you say a little bit more about what that means? And in the process of them responding, write down what they say, show them what you've written down, and then ask them if they agree. And if they do agree, then see if other people in the room agree and work together. That's the negotiation of Wardley mapping. It's the negotiation of this common ground, of this meaning that we're creating together. And once we agree on what the system is and how it works, then we can actually do more complex things. We can actually make more intense decisions. So I think these are some basic prompts: lists of users, lists of needs, lists of capabilities. Undefined terms are a great opportunity for that kind of thing. And then also, if you wanted to start with reducing bias, for example, when we talk about a capability, ask the question, what does the rest of the industry do for this? What do other organizations do for this? What do other industries other than ours do for similar kinds of concerns? And if we don't know, and we're just following a default path of what we think we should do, then there's a pretty good chance that we're building in bias that might have a harmful effect in the long run. We might custom build something that we might have been better off buying off the shelf instead. So just some things to think about. I think doctrinal principles are way more accessible than you might think. They're really these simple behaviors. I think meetings are a great place to sort of exercise some of these early behaviors. And all you have to do is ask a good question in a meeting, write it down, write down the answer to that question and share it, and make sure you carry it forward to the next meeting. Just doing that consistently will very quickly help you start to create more meaningful kind of ideas inside the organization and apply doctrine more intentionally. If you found this discussion interesting, I'm going to put a link to an article that goes a little bit deeper. It's called Principles First, and it focuses on how to get out of getting stuck in the theory and into applying doctrinal principles by changing our behavior. So take a look at that in the description if you'd like to learn more. Thanks for watching.